All right, everyone. Now that we've all introduced ourselves and had a little bit of a talk in regards to what we're doing here today, let's move on to the evaluation report. This is looking at all of the things that relate to why we're here talking about Tom. So the reason for the referral, as everyone here knows already, but we can just kind of go over it quickly again, is that Tom is beginning to exhibit refusals and unacceptable behaviors regarding his reading and his writing and those periods of time in his classroom and at home. Tom's mom and his teacher have had multiple talks about this, and they're both concerned, and so we were looking to see if maybe there was a specific learning issue or learning disability regarding Tom's reading, fluency, and comprehension. And the things that I wanted to look at in regards to this evaluation report are what are Tom's strengths and weaknesses in reading? Where should his instruction begin? What's his level of academic achievement in reading? And what are the behaviors that you guys are seeing in regards to Tom when presented with time for reading? Background: Tom scores low average to average for reading and average to math this past fall, and in the previous spring grade 3 benchmark assessments, Tom was shown to be at risk due to low but within grade equivalent scores. His vision and hearing are normal. We've already kind of previously talked about things that you guys have been doing to try and help Tom introduce new materials to him. Do we have any questions about anything that we've talked about so far? Or? Good. So Tom, strengths for Tom, he meets his expectations regarding math. Really smart as far as he loves talking about science and social studies topics, and he's a friendly, socially appropriate, really nice person who is very motivated except for regarding reading and writing. And it should be discussed that his absences have been really high this year, as is expected. He used to love to read, and that changed in the second grade. Should we discuss his strengths or any of these other relevant factors more? So the questions that I wanted to specifically answer for this evaluation report are: what are Tom's reading level equivalents in regards to his rate, accuracy, fluency, and comprehension, and how those are portrayed for norm reference testing that is related to a large group of students that are his age and his grade and where he fits in that. And then with more criterion-based testing, some classroom stuff, that less formal, more relaxed, but still paints a picture of his rate, accuracy, and fluency. Rate being how fast he reads, accuracy being, is he getting all the words right, fluency, putting rate and accuracy together, and comprehension, what's he understanding from that? Another question is, what are these behaviors, and what types of behaviors, how often are they occurring in regards to Tom's resistance to reading and his English language arts work compared to his other type of classroom and homework, and what's happening with that? That observation was performed by Mr. Watcher, whose report was submitted, and we can go over that after we discuss his evaluation report. And then the third question was in regards to, is there some sort of processing deficit that could be affecting his reading and writing. That is something that has not been done yet. I wanted to look at the other two questions specifically first, and then we as a team can talk about if we want to go further in regards to that type of testing later on in this meeting. Is there any questions about these questions that were looked at for this evaluation report? Great. So let's talk about the observations. So during the testing, both the norm referenced and the criterion based, Tom was kind of unemotional. He didn't say much, didn't smile, didn't frown, didn't want to take a break, didn't want to eat, didn't need to use the bathroom, just came in, he was all business, wanted to kind of get it over with. We did the norm reference test, the formal testing, in the resource classroom, and took about an hour. And for the criterion referenced one, the less formal one, 10 minutes on each of 3 successive days, while other kids in his classroom had other materials they were doing and other things that they were doing. Any questions? Okay, so let's now talk about the testing results. So for the norm reference tests, I used the Gray oral reading test. It goes over rate, accuracy, fluency, comprehension. In the beginning, there's some aspects talking about how the test is scored. We can talk about those if we want, but the results that were that in regards to rate, Tom was above average to superior. Accuracy, average to above average. Fluency, above average to superior. Comprehension, average to above average. Oral reading quotient, above average to superior. Oral reading quotient combines fluency and comprehension, so it's kind of the overall aspect, and in that he was above average to superior. Fluency, again, is rate and accuracy combined. Tom did very well. His percentiles were in the 80s and 90s. His grade equivalents were in the 6th grade levels. These age and grade equivalents should be cautiously considered. He's not going to go to a 6th grade classroom and start doing their work. But it does mean that he's doing work 80 to 90% above other students in his age and grade. Any questions regarding the norm reference test? So let's talk about the criterion one. These are passages that I took. There were 100-word passages that he had to read, answer some questions about, timed him, looked at how he read the words, and then the questions that we asked afterwards. The next couple pages discuss how these procedures were done, but what can be taken from that was that his rate for grade 6 material was right at that 50% above other students, dead center in the middle part. So he was reading with a speed equivalent to a grade 6 level. His accuracy was completely independent at 4th grade material, borderline independent instructional for 5th grade material, and at 6th grade he was at an instructional nearing frustration level. So that's where we were really testing him. 4th and 5th grade, he did great. As far as his comprehension, 4th grade was completely acceptable. 5th grade, he missed 1 question. That's acceptable. 6th grade, he missed 2 questions, and that broke over the unacceptable part there. The conclusions from this testing were that Tom, I'm just going to kind of read these, he was above average to superior for the overall norm-referenced formal testing. Regarding the criterion-based assessment, he really started struggling once we got to grade 6 material. So overall, he was very successful with previous grade material of that. The assessments do not explain the original reason for this referral, which centered around refusals regarding reading classroom ELA material and new recreational reading material, just general refusals to read. So, as we previously stated, we still need to talk about the observations that Mr. Watcher found, and we'll have to consider moving on to other assessment questions that maybe need to be answered regarding the behavioral aspect of what we're seeing with Tom. Are there any overall questions or anything else we need to talk about regarding this evaluation report? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Let's talk to Mr. Watcher.